made them for me, and like I wear them because I love them, and I forgot to put it on before I went live. Great, I got an earring in. Yay! Hello, hello. You can hear me. Fabulous. Great. Welcome to another live podcast recording of Stop Shooting All Over Yourself. God, dude, you don't have to do all the things just because somebody told you that you should or are supposed to. This is the podcast where you learn how to discard all of the extra baggage that you've brought with yourself over the course of the last X number of decades about business ownership. So you can free yourself enormously from just listening to this podcast. So the way that it works is that the podcast is recorded live. So during that time, I don't really engage. I don't really comment. I kind of just do the podcast recording. But once the podcast recording is over, then hi Colleen, then we will, then I'll pull back onto the screen and we'll do a Q&A and a conversation about the podcast. Everything that we talk about in this particular live training that we do once a week is really designed to help you create more free time in your life without making these drastic, overwhelming changes. Hi, Marlene. Hey, good to see you, dude. Good to see you. So today's topic that we're going to be going over, which is great for everybody, is, dude, everybody is not your customer just because everybody wears clothes. So this is a really big one. It's been actually something that almost everyone that I've ever worked with struggles with this, in that they're trying to find all of the people. And so this is what I really want to talk about today, because it's one of those areas where we often feel like if we narrow down or niche down into our audience, it will actually lose people, but we don't realize that the more we niche down, the more customers we actually get. And it happens. I've never seen it not work that way. So anytime you niche down and get more specific about who it is that you're talking to, you're going to start seeing higher sales and better sales. Hi, Christy. Good to see you this morning. Hey, guys, don't forget, this is a public live. You can share this with anybody that you want. You can just hit that little share button and get it on anybody's feed. This live is going to be mostly useful for anyone in your life who runs a small business, who is struggling with sales, who feels like, and we're going to go outline the problem a little bit later. But hi, Adona. Good to see you. We'll outline the problem as we start recording the podcast, but that's who would be interested in this. So I wouldn't recommend sharing this with just everybody. You can if you'd like to, but the people that you're going to find to get the most value out of it are going to be your team. If you're in direct sales, people in other business groups, boutique groups, mastermind groups, things like that, where you're actually trying to identify how to resolve issues within your business. There's quite a few of these that you can actually share to anybody because they'll be useful to everyone. This particular one is really just going to be useful to people with businesses. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to start the podcast as soon as I just fair warning. Allergy season is like, oh my God, it's the worst. And my allergies are killing me. I'm hoping that if we move by the ocean, there'll just be no pollen. So there's going to be a whole lot of sneezing. It's not going to be pretty. So it's just like, bah. It's uncomfortable, but looks probably way worse. I mean, right now I think it looks fine, but when I start sneezing and I'm like, what? It's going to look ugly. So we're all just going to power through, close your eyes, put on some mask, just hide it. I'll let you know when it's safe to look up again. Okay, so let us get started. Okay. I think I actually did a really great intro for the podcast earlier, and now I have to do it again. All right, I'm going to blow my nose first. Hold on. Please hold. All right, ready? Okay. Oh my God, I always hate the beginning part of recording something because I feel like once you record it, like live feels like spontaneous. Recording feels like I have to put it in properly, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing this live, is because if I didn't do it live, I would procrastinate. I would never actually record it. I would consistently make up reasons why I shouldn't. This is the only way I can guarantee that I'm actually going to record the podcast. All right. Hello, and welcome to Stop Shooting All Over Yourself, the podcast with me, Manessa Konecki, where I will show you how to get rid of all of the baggage and underlying beliefs that you brought with you over the last several decades about business. We all believe that there are things that we should be doing in our business. I'm constantly saying it. Oh, I should be doing this. I should be going live. I should have an email list. I should have a chatbot. I should. It's likely right now, as I'm saying I should, you have a list of things in your head already that you should or shouldn't be doing. And the key is that as a business owner that I've actually worked with thousands of business owners. And one of the things that I've observed is that most business owners have about twice or thrice as much on their to-do list that they really need. And a lot of the things that actually make it onto your to-do list don't actually need to be there. And a lot of them are there because we just feel like we should be doing something. So we spend most of our time feeling guilty about the things we're not doing and then forcing ourselves to do things we don't want to do anyway. So the whole point of this podcast is to help you determine what you can discard and what to keep, by helping you recognize the origins of some of these ideas, where they came from, and why they don't work anymore. So today, the question that we're going to be addressing is, everyone is not your customer just because they wear clothes. Okay, that's what I called this one, and I called it this for a very specific reason. So I'm going to start by listing a whole bunch of problems that you may be experiencing in your business, and why I want to list all of them. And I don't usually start by listing, here's all of the problems, but in this case, it's important because this idea and this philosophy of everybody not being your customers, that is such a pivotal change that once you internalize that, accept it, and start to apply that into your business will literally never be the same again. Ever. You will never be the same. Your business will never be the same. And I am not exaggerating at all. It completely transforms. It's like you're living in a whole different world. And suddenly you're like, whoa, before it was like doom and gloom and gray skies. And suddenly there's like butterflies and there's, animated, birds flying around and landing on your head. It's really weird, right? But it's amazing. Okay. It becomes amazing. And all of them are solved by this one change in approach. So if you are somebody who is running a small business and you're using social media or Facebook primarily, but you're not actually getting anybody to show up. Okay. So you're not getting any reach, but you do try to grow on Facebook. Okay. When you go live, right? So when you post or when you go live, nobody actually shows up. Nobody actually engages. So like you have a business page, you're doing the posts, you're writing on the things, but when you go live, nobody's showing up. When you post, your page is crickets. You may seem like the same 3 or 4 people showing up like all the time. Maybe it's your mom, maybe it's your best friend, maybe it's your diehard customer, but there are a few people maybe that you see coming frequently, or you don't see anybody, but it's probably around in that area, one of those two things, right? Now, when that happens, what a lot of business owners do is they're like, okay, I'm not getting any reach on my page. I'm not getting any reach in nothing is happening. I'm stuck in this space. So they try to figure out how they can force reach, right? And when I say they, I mean, I've done this as well. I remember vividly doing this. Like, I remember I was sitting. That's how vividly I remember doing this. Where when you realize that your reach is not happening because of the algorithm, we're like, okay, how do I force this to happen? So the next step that most business owners take at that point is they start to share and they start to ask for shares. So at this point, they are asking, or you are asking for shares from your friends, your downline, maybe your upline, if you're in direct sales, your family members, your sister, past customers, and you're just really always asking for shares. And then you're asking other people, like, where can I share to get more customers, right? So you're making this list of groups where you might be able to share to get more customers. Maybe you're engaging in like ladders at this point, saying, okay, I'm going to go to a page and say, guys, I don't have a lot of viewers here. I'm going to dump my link here, and then you dump your link here, and then you like my page, I'll like your page, and then everybody just dumps their links and goes and likes everybody's pages, right? That is what a lot of people will end up doing to try to get that reach. That's a really bad idea. That doesn't work. That actually will kill your page faster than anything else. But those are the kind of tactics that we start to engage in because what we're doing isn't working, right? And you don't feel like your friends, so now at this stage you're feeling despairing, right? Like, oh my God, nothing is happening, right? And your friends and family, you're not feeling super supported because even though they bought from you before, maybe they're not buying from you right now. And the issue that happens to all of us when we get there is that we feel like we are failures. We're doing something wrong. People hate us. Like we really internalize it and realize that we look at the person down the street who has a business and she's doing fine, or we look at someone else in our same direct sales company and they're doing fine. And we're like, well, if they're doing fine, then it must be something about me. Okay. So meanwhile, we're still trying to so you try to grab all the customers and you end up just sort of in this cycle where, as I just described, if you were following along, you're probably like, whoa, dude, what are we doing here? Like there's chaos, people aren't commenting. It's a lot. That's where we end up. Like that feeling is exactly the feeling we end up in when we're not sure what to do, when we feel like we've tried everything else and nothing is working, not getting the traction, right? A lot of this has its root in the space that you as a business owner do not know how to describe your business in such a way that gets them excited about it. Excited about sharing it for you, excited about pushing you into their communities, right? Rather than making it feel like it's a favor to you, right? So you don't want to be like, hey, Sally, my business is struggling. Do me a huge solid. Can you share this on your page, right? You don't want to do somebody to do that for you as a favor. What you want is Sally to say, oh my God, I bought this candy from Jackie and it's like crack candy. It's so good. It's this like little espresso bean with like some caramel in the center. I don't know, whatever it is, you have to get some. Here, let me share her page with you, right? She's live right now, or she has them on sale right now. Now that person is promoting your content based off of the value that they got. They're promoting it because they want to. And the person on the other side can feel it, right? They can feel that this person is approaching them with genuine enthusiasm. And when someone approaches you with genuine enthusiasm, you are infected with it. And then you run off and you want to do the thing that they did to have that same enthusiasm, because everybody wants to love stuff. Everybody wants to be excited about stuff. But nobody wants to feel like they're, oh, okay, I'll go buy something or share something just to do a favor for you. But now you feel icky and they feel icky and everybody feels icky about it, right? And the customer who shared it, their audience can pick up on the fact that it wasn't an authentic share. It's a subconscious biological, mechanism that we have in place to protect ourselves. You have a gut feeling that this is just not authentic, okay? These are all the things that push people away from you. They don't bring people closer to you, right? So the exact same activities that you are doing to bring people to you is actually repelling them from you, right? Now, the thing is that you in general, you're fine, you're awesome, you're amazing. Your product is fine and awesome and amazing. The only thing that needs to actually change is the approach and the technique that you're using to find new customers. So you've got the product, you've got yourself, you're amazing, product is amazing, because those are two things that, like, if you were like, oh, I sell dirt and I sell sand and I live in the Sahara, right? I'd be like, well, and you're selling to people in the Sahara. I'd be like, well, okay, I'm gonna be really honest. I don't think your product has much viability here, right? But for the most part, if you've got one person to buy your product, there are others out there, which means you have a viable product. So you're already winning. Check. Product. Check. You've got you, right? You've got the gumption, you've got the grit, you've got the desire, you've got the intelligence. All you need, literally all you need, is the technique. Once you have the technique, everything will open up. So it's not really a whole lot of extra work that you need to do, but it's that last step. But it is one of the hardest steps, okay? Now, this lack of language actually comes from not being sure what value you offer or who it is that wants to buy your product in the first place, right? Because if you think everyone is your customer, then you need to have a pitch that is able to talk to my sister, who is 30-something, or 40, she just turned 40, with 3 kids, and a 22-year-old who's out skateboarding with her friends, and me, who is not a mother, who wants to live minimally, and then Jen, who has a gigantic house that is cluttered with lots of stuff, right? And my husband, who is all into finances. So I just listed 5 or 6 different types of people. Oh, and a child who's 6 years old. What that means is that every time you are faced with a person, you're having to come up with your pitch again and again and again, because you don't actually know what your value is. You're trying to guess the value to the person on the fly. What would be most valuable? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes, you will get ads up really quick. Is that the one that's going to get their attention? I don't know. Did I guess right? Right? Now you have to guess right. You're thinking that everyone is your customer. So what you're doing is you're basically just spraying and praying. You're just hoping that, well, I hope I get somebody who's my customer. I'm just going to talk to everybody and tell everybody all of the things, and eventually someone will come talk to me. What that does is that creates an environment where you constantly feel like you suck. Because if you're talking to 800 people, right? So let's pretend that we're back in the Sahara Desert, okay? Actually, let's move back, okay? So we're back. So let's pretend we're back in the Sahara Desert, all right? And you're trying to sell water this time, okay? You're trying to sell water. And you're like, here you go. I have a big bucket of water, and I'm going to sell it to you for $100, right? $1,000, $1 million. I mean, people are going to buy that bucket of water because they want it, because it's hot. They need it for their camels, their drinking, whatever, right? Flip side, you take that same bucket of water and you put it right next to a lake. And you tell somebody, I will sell this bucket of water for you, to you for $100. Nope, you won't have any takers. $10, $5, 10 cents. Everybody's gonna be like, why do I need your bucket of water? I have water. It's not about customizing what it is that you are selling to who you're selling it to. It's about figuring out, okay, who is it that needs my product? And I'm going to go find those people. And then those people will all buy from me. It'll be easy to sell to the people in the Sahara. It's going to be really hard to sell to the people by the lake. Why am I going to take 10, 12, 15, 30, 40, 50, 70 times the effort to try to sell something to people at the lake that are never going to buy from me anyway, when I could literally just put my stuff in front of people in the Sahara and they'll buy it, right? That's the key. So if you're constantly having to convince people to buy from you, it's because they're not your customers. But if you're able to really stand your flag and say, this is my value and I'm leaning in here, then your customers will come to you on their own, right? So let me give you an example of how this plays out in real life, right? When I first joined LuLaRoe years ago, okay, this is years ago, and this is where I learned this message. That was where I learned about marketing, and it was a mistake, okay? The basic message that everybody taught me, my upline taught me, Deanne taught me, everybody taught me was everyone's your customer because everyone wears clothes. And I was like, well, of course, everyone's your customer. Everyone wears clothes. And I perpetuated that lie and myth with my downline. And I feel awful. Like these are the sort of things that I feel bad about. I only hope that all the things that I'm doing, I'll make up for that, right? But I did say it. What I didn't understand was that the company was still in its initial stages of infancy. And because it was in its stages of infancy, it was in a accelerated growth stage, whereas like Tickle Me Elmo, kind of fad-like stages, right? Where it's right now it's hype, like MTV was in the beginning, but then it just becomes a thing that you do. So when something is hype, all you have to do is show it to somebody and they'll buy it. Oh my God, like Tickle Me Elmo, you just showed it to someone and they'll buy it, right? Tamagotchis, you just showed it to them and somebody would buy it. Whatever the newest PlayStation 5 is, you show it to them and then they buy it, right? That when something's in that phase. But once it moves into the more normalization phase, you actually have to market it. You can't just show it to somebody and expect people to buy it. So at that point, right, it's because not everybody likes the same things. In the beginning, everybody just wants to be part of the zeitgeist. They're just really excited to be part of this whole experience. But now that it's all over, not everybody likes the same thing. Some people like jeans. Some people like leggings. Some people like those shoes with the red soles that Syra has behind her when she live streams that look like basically bloody feet. Some people like those. They're called Louboutins? Something. With red shoes, right? Now, you're probably thinking everyone out there is your customer because you think maybe your customer, your product has universal appeal, right? Or like, everybody wears clothes. Or maybe you're thinking that everyone in a particular group is your customer, like all moms or all kids or so on, right? That's not always going to be the case. If you ask 10 people if they like Oreos, you're going to get 10 different answers. Some kids like trucks, some kids like Legos, some kids like Barbies. You don't know. Everybody's not going to like what you have just because they fit into a demographic, like one single thing where you're like all moms, all stuff. It has to be much more specific than that. So the way to get people to your page and to your group is not to just kind of say, everybody's my customer and let me just try to attract everyone, but to instead figure out who those people are that actually like your product and attract them. Okay. And that's when you're going to start seeing sales. You'll start to see engagement. You'll start to see reach. You won't need to worry about these shares. Your workload will it'll be crazy. You will see a crazy, crazy amount of results from this. Okay. So here is your solution. I'm going to give you the solution and then I'll give you the homework to take with you. Okay. So who is your target market? You have to know who your target market is. And I'm not going to lie, it is really freaking hard to figure out who your target market is when you're first starting because you're trying to change a way of thinking. Okay. Every single one of my students thinks this is the hardest thing ever. I think it's the hardest thing ever. My sister and I got into huge fights when she was trying to learn it, just because it's very challenging. But once you get through it, for the rest of your life, you never have to worry about it again. It's so easy. You can just do it anytime you want. Like, you never have to worry about it again. And you're making a lot more money in the meantime, so you really don't mind it as much. But start small, okay? I don't want you to think, oh my God, I have to put together my entire target audience. You don't. Start just thinking about the kinds of people you like to hang out with. Like, do you have a naughty sense of humor? Do you like to swear? Do you like the Golden Girls? Like, who do you like to hang out with? Do you get annoyed when people whine all the time? Do you love talking about The Bachelor? Like, what are some of the things that you like to do, like to talk about? That's where you're going to find your target audience to start. And yes, it's really as simple as that. It literally is as simple as just write about the things that you like to do. Okay. So here is your homework. Okay. So I want you to click on the message me button on the top of this page. Okay. And if you're listening to this podcast later, then you can head over to @Manessa.Konecki on Facebook. And you can download the target audience worksheet by activating the messenger. And there's a question that says, hey, do you want the download? And you'll say yes, and then download it. It'll be great. And what that will do is it'll help you start to figure out who those people are for you, right? Who are those people? And there are also some videos to help you along the way, okay? Then I want you to share what you've learned in this thread, okay? I want to be able to learn about your target audience. I want to help you with this, right? So when you write it down, it's also going to get so much clearer in your mind. And then when you write posts, you'll feel like 100 times more confident, okay? And that's getting you to that path to freedom. I have interviewed thousands of business owners over the years, and without fail, the root of their sales issues are that they don't know who the person is that likes to buy their product. This is so important, guys. Like, drop everything that you're doing right now and do this first level important. That's how important this is. And you can check with any coach. They will all agree on this. This is literally drop everything that you're doing and focus on this. If you have any questions or need additional directions, you can feel free to message us on the business page at manessa.konecki. And if you want to watch the podcast recording live, you can also join us on the business page. If you like this podcast, please leave us a review and let other business owners know how it helped. Our mission at Direct to Success is to help as many women as we can feel joy and confidence in their business again. And your referrals help us get the message out. Your friends and colleagues will thank you later. And cut. Alrighty, how do we do? Okay, let's see what happened. What did I miss? Oh my God, I missed so much stuff. All right, Q&A time, people. Let's see what happened. Okay. Alrighty, good morning, good morning. Okay, so Crystal says, I feel like that when I share my downline, the views go down. Yep, absolutely, Crystal. So the reason why this works that way is because the algorithm knows what you're doing, and it actually has a special category of spamming for that. It's called, it's a very long name. It's falsely inflating reach for the purpose of sales. So if you do that, it knows what you're doing, and every one time you do it, it dings you. So you're getting closer and closer and closer to jail every time you do it, which is why your viewers drop. It's trying to modify your behavior by not giving you the results that you're looking for, right? So like the best way to do behavior modification for anyone or anything really, right, is by reward and restriction. So, you know, my puppy, she sits down, she gets a treat. You know, I speak to my husband kindly, I get treated kindly in return, right? If I yell at someone and they ignore me, then I'm going to continue to yell, they'll ignore me. And then when I speak to them in like a normal voice and be like, hey, and then they give me attention, I realize if I want their attention, I need to speak politely, right? These are the things that we learn through behavior modification, through the consequences of our actions. And so what Facebook is trying to do is it's saying, okay, you're sharing for reach. I'm not giving you any reach. In fact, I'm going to push your reach down. The problem is people still keep doing it, right? It's like we really literally just keep running into this as a wall here and we keep like doing this, right? And you can't see me, I know, but it's like, why are we doing that, right? Because what we don't realize is it's not doing what we think it is. We just hope that it is. So I'm telling you right now, it's not doing what you think it is. This is one of the single biggest reasons people lose their pages, lose their reach, have to start all over again from scratch, is this activity of sharing. So I would recommend halting that immediately, completely. Okay, so Jessica says, so in a local networking group that I'm in, they created a Google spreadsheet to help one another give reviews on businesses actually owned by local moms, okay? And the contingency is that you have to have engaged or purchased from that business in order to leave a review. And then hopefully you would leave a review in turn for the other person. What do you think of that? So I actually like it because it's a local networking group, but I think that it limits you because it's in a closed space, right? So the whole point of being in a networking group is to be in an open space. So I think that has value, but I don't understand why those aren't in a public place, right? Like this is where, so like if you're in a networking group, the goal is to elevate everybody in the group. There's no elevation happening if everything is happening inside this spreadsheet, right? So I would instead, what I would do is I would take what's in that spreadsheet and then have people take that and use it on their pages for public stuff. Cause like, it's the public stuff that matters more. This is really great for making sure that people this is a service for the networking group. This is not a service for you to grow, right? So basically this is a service that says, okay, here's a group of X number of people. They all have businesses. We're going to sit and be all incestuous in here and buy from each other. This is exactly how you end up in those situations where you don't have any customers because you sit here and play in this sandlot, right? It's great as one part of your strategy. It is not good. It's great as one tactic as part of your overall strategy. It is not a good idea if it's the only thing they're doing. Like there has to be a little bit more, otherwise it's a closed space. Okay. I know, right? I love it. Jess Hopkins, guys, Jess Hopkins was the one who named Stop Shooting All Over Yourself. She named this. We were in the squad. I was going to name it Everything I Thought I Learned About Business Was Wrong. And there was another one that I think like, why are we always shooting or something? RIP should. RIP should is what I was going to call it. And then she said, why don't you call it Stop Shooting All Over Yourself? And I'm like, dude, yes. Yes. Is there still a separate target audience training? Crystal, there is a separate target audience training, but I would recommend that you do the one in the squad. It's just faster. It's faster. It has more effective tools that you can use. That target audience training will tell you if you want to go deeper and literally learn everything that you possibly can about your audience, that is the where to go. Like That's more like an advanced course. So I would do the one in the squad first. And then once you have that down, I would go into the advanced course and take a look at that. Because I think that is really great when you have like a general idea for your audiences, you're comfortable with it, and now you're kind of ready to like dive in. For all of you guys who went through it in the squad, like we were starting with the advanced stuff. Okay, so just FYI for the handout, I'm gonna post it. I have to post it manually. Right before I came up here, I was gonna put it in the chat, right? Because I was basically going through and making sure everything was all set in place and that kind of thing. And I was like, oh shoot, I forgot to put the link in the chat. So I went into the automated chat section on Facebook to add it. And every single section of Facebook will load for me except that page. So I don't have it in there right now. So I was like, okay, as soon as I'm done live, I'm going to go and try and add it again. So it'll be in the messages section. When you go into the messages on the business page, I have a little menu. One of the menus will be download the target audience workbook, and you can just download it from there. I'm going to get that done today. I meant to have it before this live, but alas, Facebook. The reviews are written on your business pages. Perfect then. Okay, perfect. Yeah, as long as the reviews are public. Yeah, I'm sorry. It sounded like the reviews were in the spreadsheet, which seemed like not useful at all. But if the reviews are public, then it's absolutely perfect, because what you're doing then is you're actually generating interest. You're generating social proof. I love this. Love it, love it, love it. It's perfect then. Absolutely. Yep. Anne says, yes, I joined a vendor event. It was basically all owners commenting and maybe a purchase. Exactly. And that's really, that started to happen to me a lot when I was doing a lot of vendor events here in Massachusetts, is especially when we were doing, when I was really heavily into LuLaRoe, is that a lot of the people who would organize it would it would be organized by a bunch of people who were buying from each other. And so it ended up being just like a bunch of retailers in one space selling sort of to each other. Right. And that really came from this idea that everyone is our customer. And so we're just trying to get all the people in. Of course, there's a lot of other things going on with me at the time anyway. But it was a challenge. Right. And it really is all about identifying who your market is. Right. Because otherwise you look like a Waldo in a sea of Waldos. And they're like, okay, there's 800 Waldos out here. Okay, I'll just pick that one. There's no chance of you getting noticed at all. Right. But if there's a sea of Waldos and you're like, okay, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab Jason Momoa. Waldo, got Jason Momoa. Everybody? Anybody? Jason? Now suddenly someone's going to see a Waldo holding Momoa up. And that's the one that stands out. Doesn't matter about all the rest. That's the one my eyes go to immediately. So I'm going to pick that one just because. So one of the things that I want to actually give you, let you know, and share this with your friends, guys, because this is going to be super fun. So today I'm doing something completely different on the business page. And you guys have never seen anything like this, I'm pretty sure. If you're in the squad, you've probably seen it. If you watch Twitch streams, you may have seen it, but most of my audience has never seen anything like this. It is a different way of approaching your business entirely, live streaming entirely. It's going to change the way your lives and your videos and your content look when they go into somebody's feed. It's going to be the thing that people are like, whoa, what's that? You've never seen anything like this before. Now, if you guys have heard of Jackbox Games, you've probably seen Jackbox before. Maybe you've played it at your house, you've played it with your kids, you've played it with your friends, you all sit around on the couch and you play it on the TV. It's going to be exactly like that. We're going to play Jackbox, but we're going to play it live here. We have 8 people from the squad who are going to be playing like as actual participants, and then everything else is going to happen with the audience. And what's great about this is that because your audience and my audience hasn't seen this before, when we're doing this, it's going to be like, it's going to stop the scroll just because of the surprise. Here is the thing. Once I start doing this, I can promise you other people are going to see it and they're going to start doing it as well. Okay. Because they're going to start being like, oh, hey, look at that. That's cool. How do I do that? They're going to message me. They're going to figure it out and they're going to do it themselves as well. You only have about 6 months to a year, not even a year. You have 6 months to use this tactic before everybody else is already using it. So I'm going to teach it to you today. Well, I'm not going to teach it. I'm going to show it to you today. If you want to learn how to do it, you'll have to join the squad, because it's not like one of those things where I can just be like, okay, here, this is how you do it. Like, I have to actually teach you how to do it. And that's going to be part of our stage 3. But it is going to be the difference, right? So I want to invite you, even if you don't want to sign for the squad, come join us on the live this afternoon so you can at least see what it looks like and get an idea, right? If you can get an idea of it, then you can be like, okay, I am interested in this, or maybe I'm not, and I want to implement it maybe in, May. So I don't really need to sign up for the squad now. I can sign up in May. Sure, no problem. If you want to wait till May to make the difference, that's not a big deal at all. But definitely come and at least see it so that you can get an idea of what the possibilities actually are. Right now, everybody's doing the exact same thing. So everybody looks the same. So everybody's struggling with customers. You do not have to break your back to stand out from other people. You can do very small things that stand out enormously so that you don't have to worry. Okay. All right. How do you join the squad? Kim, so glad you asked. You can go to www.socialstrategysquad.com. If you head over there right now, the page will pop up. Woohoo! And you can scroll down. There's everything you need to know about it is in that page. But of course, if you have questions, you're welcome to ask the business page. And then there's a button that'll say, hey, join the squad now. Click on it and it will take you to the sign up process and it'll walk you right through. Once you've signed up, I'll meet you in the hub. There's going to be a little head, me doing like this, hi. And I will walk you through the hub and show you all where everything is and what to do. And then today at 1 p.m., we're going to be in here live on this page with Jackbox. And then the course that teaches you how to do what we're going to do today will be out by the end of September. Okay, so the course that's going to show you how to get your live stream in people's feeds so that literally they're just like, whoa, and everybody's stopping the scroll. That's going to be coming out in September. Okay, this is going to be amazing. It's going to be absolutely, I'm so excited. Okay. And I just want you to know, okay, so just so you know about this afternoon, I have decided that I am not going to try to wait till anything is perfect ever again. I'm just doing it. So what we're doing today, I'm just doing it because I want you to see every mistake I make. I want you to see every roadblock I run into. I want you to see every technical glitch I have. And then I want to solve it in front of you. And then I want you to see it's fine. It doesn't matter if you run into these issues, because the biggest issue that most people face is not starting at all because they're scared of doing it wrong or it not being right. And so what we see today is literally going to be us going, okay, we're doing Jackbox, right? We're going to do a half hour beforehand where we prep and do all that stuff. And then we're going to go live and we're just going to figure it out as we go. I've already seen this work on multiple other platforms. I am shocked it's not on Facebook yet. Like, I realized 3 months ago that there is an entire area of Facebook we're not capitalizing on, and that's going to change starting today. Okay, so I will see you. All right, so yes, I can post a website in the comments. Absolutely, I'll do that right after this. That's me with Aweber. I'm just doing it, even though it looks generic, but I'm learning. Exactly, just do it. You will learn as you go. Everything that you are seeing right now on this screen, the live, the Jackbox, all of the things that I've ever done, I have shown you guys. Right? I've shown you guys as much as I can. I was a little bit nervous before, but now I'm just not nervous anymore. I'm just gonna show you everything. Because when you get to the part like this, where it looks like this, nobody remembers the part before where you are making all those mistakes. Like, literally, go back and look at some of my lives. You'll see that they look totally different. But some of you have never seen me before today. And all you see is this. And this looks like it's totally put together. Not how it started. Not how it started. Okay? Alrighty, the website is the Social Strategy. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I'm going to do something for you. Check this out. Hold on. Can I spell? You know how it is? Like, now I'm older and I'm like, can I see? Can I see? Okay, it's super tiny. Hold on. I'll fix that. Oh, for heaven's sakes. All right, there it is. All right, fine. I'll have to do it this way. Okay, done. That'll make it easier if it's so much bigger. All right. So far, my plan was it did not work the way I thought it was going to work. So in my thought, I was going to be able to do this, la, 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 la. But apparently that is not how this works. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Can I resize? How can I resize? Transform. There we go. Okay, perfect. There we go. Brilliant. Okay, now I know why I can't edit it. I had it locked. I'm such a dingbat. Okay, there we go. Done. Winning. Okay, there you go. That's how you sign up for the Social Strategy Squad. Okay, so you can sign up for the Social Strategy Squad. Today, the attendees, we've already got the attendees for today's Jackbox, so that roster is full. If you sign up, then you'll be part of the crew that's doing it. We will... the entire training, which is Amplify Your Reach, Stage 3, that's being launched at the end of September, and that's going to include all of this Jackbox stuff. The first thing that you'll learn in there, though, is either going to be resetting your business or finding your customer. So that's going to be so you can get started while we wait on this one. Fabulous, fabulous. I am so excited. So, yeah, and I would not give people incentives to leave reviews on your page. That's bad practice. Google frowns upon it. Facebook frowns upon it. And if people knew that that's what you were doing, that review now is tarnished, and it will always be tarnished because that you had to buy it. So I would not recommend people leaving. And I will admit, I think I have the card in here somewhere. I found my old business card, and my old business card said, here, get $5 off for leaving a review. I made that mistake. I don't recommend it. It just erodes trust, because when people get it, that say, here, I'm giving you a gift to leave a review, then they think to themselves, okay, wait a minute. Maybe they just bought from you once. They think, did she buy all of the reviews on her page? Why did I even buy from her? Because it sounds like she lied about everything. Right now, none of that's true. None of it. I mean, sure, you paid for you just said, hey, listen, I'm just trying to incentivize you to take action. That's literally all you just did. You weren't saying leave something nice. You weren't trying to make somebody do anything. None of that was actually happening, but it doesn't matter. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is the optics of what you do. Okay. So in some cases, it's so important to recognize that it doesn't matter what your intention was or what's happening or whatever. The optics must be considered. And in this case, even though your intentions are probably good, the optics are horrible. So I wouldn't do it. Okay. Alrighty. You're so welcome to have had this eye candy while I was working on it in my next studio. So like we're still working on the others. Well, we're not doing that anymore at all because we're moving. I'm going to have Robert Downey Jr. because I think of him, like, he's adorable and I love him, but I think of him more like a brother, right? Like adorable brother. But Robert Downey Jr. is like, I'll be in my bunk. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, he's amazing. Okay. All right. So one last thing that I want to share with you before we wrap up. Okay. So one of the things that I do at the end of this recording is tell you what my post-mortem was. So like after I do each podcast, I look at it and say, okay, what did I do wrong? What did I do right? What do I want to change? What do I want to make better? After the end of every podcast, I do that. So after last podcast, what I realized was that one, I didn't like the logo. I still absolutely hate my logo. I'm not a fan. I think I like the font now, but I don't really like a whole lot of things about it. So if you look at last week's, it's a different logo. The week before that, it's a different logo. I'm changing the logos as I go because I'm just not happy with it. I didn't like that the frame was so thick. I felt like people watching me would feel like I was, in a thing. So I spread it out a little bit more. I think I need to make this yellow thing a little bit smaller now. I made those changes. I think the yellow thing is just too big. I need to just make it a little bit narrower. Other things is that I want to add the ability to put your comments on screen, maybe somewhere on like here, right here, right? So like I'm standing here, here, and then the comments are here, so you guys can sort of like see the conversation if you can't see that in there. So that's something that I'd like to do, and my software allows for that. The only problem I have is that like many of you guys are on Facebook, and so like you can already see the comments, so it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to have it there. So that's something I'm still trying to workshop. Still hate the logo. We're now in a space where I'm ready for it to be a podcast. Okay, so I think we've got 4 recorded, maybe 3. So we're ready for it to be a podcast. So I talked to Lara. She's going to start editing it and getting them up. I got my subscription. I got my service where I'm going to host them. So the podcast itself is going to start going up now so that we can now start to fill that in so that I can now, that's going to become like its own funnel on its own, where again, everybody's going to be sent to my quiz. I also don't have a cover graphic for my podcast. So I'm probably just going to use like this green thing or like that purple with like just for now, and then I'll replace it later. So this is all, because the important thing is this: the only thing you really need is the content. With the content you can run like the wind. My logo sucks. Okay, who cares? It can get better. It's not going to improve your ability to internalize or understand what it is that I'm saying. Like, it's pretty, but it's not impacting your growth in any way. So if the things that need to be fixed are non-growth impacting for you, like if they're not going to impact you at all, then I can fix it later. It doesn't need to be fixed right now. The content is what's most important. As long as I can get it to you, that's what matters. So I want you to think about that on your business page as you're doing these things. You can add all the bells and whistles later. The key thing is to just start to figure out what it is that you're doing and what works for you and your audience. Not trying to get it perfect, because here's the thing, and I'm going to leave you with this thought. Hi, Gloria. So good to see you. All right. So, oh shoot, what was I saying? Hold on. I was just saying something and then I lost my brain fog. Shit. You know how it is. Okay, we'll come back to it. Somebody remind me what I was saying. In the meantime, I'll come to this. Yeah, you can ask for reviews in Messenger. You can send emails you can ask for them. Absolutely. Just don't pay for them. Ask for them, and you should ask for them all the time. Just don't pay for them, right? You don't want to be like, here, I'll give you this. Like, just ask for it. If someone wants to give it, they will. Eventually, you will earn a lot of reviews. It just takes time to build up. Okay, so now I was saying comments on screen. Or maybe I'll look at this and see what it was. Okay. cover graphic dummy. Oh yeah. If it's not impacting your growth, that's what it was. So if you're in your business, whatever it is that you're doing, if it's, oh, now I remember, I moved forward. Community. You can't make it perfect when you do it yourself on your own, right? Because guess what we're doing, all of us right now? We're having conversations. You're here with me. You are looking at this. This is not Manessa is showing up and I have developed something perfect. All hail the amazingness of my creation. This is a relationship between the two of us. So I have to see how you interact with things and what you like and what you don't. And you don't have to say it. Just experiencing it with you, I get to see, okay, like while we're talking, I'm distracted by this. I should fix that, right? Like, but I'm never going to know it unless I do it. And I need you to be there as part of the whole thing to be figuring it out, right? So when you go live, what you want to be doing is looking at, okay, I went live. This was a little weird. I think I need, and for me, the thing that I'm going to add is I want to add a countdown beforehand of 2 minutes so that I can go live in advance. And then basically the countdown just so that I'm basically streaming, everybody's being notified, countdown is happening. And then I'm like, okay, I'm here. So everybody has a chance to kind of get their coffee and get situated and do the thing, right? So I'm going to add that for next time too. So that's really the thing I want you to keep in mind for your own business as we wrap up right now, which is really that a lot of the things that you think are really important, they're really not. They are not what's going to get you money. They're not what's going to get you sales. They're not going to get you where you want to be. A lot of this comes from fallacies that we have been taught over the last several decades about how businesses are run. And now we're starting to see a lot of very previously hustle people, very previously bought into this whole other idea of selling people, realize that same thing. And they're kind of jumping on this bandwagon, which is good because I think we all need, the more people are on this, the better. It's a big ship to turn because the internet's huge and it contains all of the information from the last 20 to 30 years, most of which is now outdated when it comes to these kinds of philosophies. So the key here is to recognize that just because you think you should be doing something because someone told you once doesn't mean that that's the case. And so what I want to leave you with is feel free, empower yourself, give yourself permission to challenge things. Ask yourself, do I really need to be doing this? Is everyone really my customer? Do I have a specific, like just challenge your underlying, the things that you think are just the way they are, and you will find that the answers that you get help to move you even further. Alrighty? So today, 1 p.m. Eastern, Heidi, I saw your question, 1 p.m. Eastern, okay, is when we're all going to jump on our live in the squad. At 1:30 p.m. Eastern on this page, and I'm sorry if I said it differently earlier, sorry. 1:30 p.m. Eastern, we will be on this page. We will be live from 1:30 p.m. Eastern to 2:30 p.m. Eastern. When we're live, it's going to be all Jackbox, gaming, fun times, all that stuff. So anyone who wants to watch it during that time can. You can also play with us, all right? So this isn't going to be one of those things where we're playing and you're just watching. You can play with us as an audience. So there is audience participation in the game that we're going to play. I specifically selected it because there's audience participation. All right, so you're going to be able to participate as well. I recommend that even if you don't plan on participating, you come and show up just because it will give you an idea of what possibilities exist, and make sure that you tell literally everyone that you know in business, because the fact of the matter is they haven't seen anything like this. And once they see it, they're going to be like, oh my God, holy shit, right? So make your friends go, holy shit, and send them to the thing at 1 p.m. All right. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. thesocialstrategysquad.com. Don't forget to sign up because just FYI, doors close tonight. So if you are not in tonight, you will not be in again until April. So you don't want to be 6 months down. You don't want to be like in December and be like, ah, shit, I should have joined the squad. Literally, just join it now. There is a 14-day money-back guarantee. So if you don't like it, you can leave. And I give you your money back and everybody's happy, right? Well, I'm sad because you left, but I'd like you to stay. So yeah, come join us. 14-day money-back guarantee. All right.